Okay, yeah.
Your video's not on, that's all. Hi everyone on Zoom.
Okay, so here we go. Um, can everybody hear me? Okay, excellent. Yeah, please just mute yourselves. It looks like everyone is muted, which is great. And for the people on Zoom, please could you put your questions in the chat box? We're going to read the questions from there. And we'll try and go through as many of them as we can in this meeting. So I think we both live on Zoom and on YouTube. We had a final last minute problem on YouTube because we're running two computers. And the second computer, we suddenly realized that the fan in the computer was so loud, the microphone was picking it up, and we had to get a new laptop to go live on YouTube. So that delayed us a little bit. Let me see there. Um, Now, I'm not sure if I still need to admit anyone else, or have we already got a full complement here?
I did admit all, so
Okay,
got a
excellent.
healthy amount of people. Nobody had questions.
All right. So let's get the show on the road. So first of all, welcome everybody. It's lovely to see so many people being interested in this first public meeting. Welcome to our first One Small Town public meeting. It gives me great joy and pleasure and a big honor to be able to share this information with everybody and engage in questions and answers and really spread the message of One Small Town as far and wide as we possibly can. I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank all the people. Well, also welcome everyone on YouTube that are not on Zoom. I see there's a huge number of people, so I'm looking at a second computer and it's slightly obscured. So it looks like there's a great number of people joining us on Zoom as well, on YouTube as well. So this is a great indication that the interest is growing and our membership around the world is growing with it. So firstly, I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart all the people that have supported me and the Ubuntu movement and the One Small Town initiative for so many years. It's coming up to 2 decades now, believe it or not. It's coming up to 2 decades that this movement has been growing and evolving. So there have been a huge number of people that have come, into my life and out of my life and into the movement over these many years. And I'd like to thank each and every one of those people that have been part of it and inspired me and helped and assisted and were part of it in so many different ways that kept the movement growing and kept us alive and getting us to this point. It is quite overwhelming that I started in 2005, so 2024 would make it 2 decades, I guess. Starting with a very simple question. What would happen if you removed money from the system? And that led to exactly where we are today. A very long and winding road, a journey of many exciting adventures and learning and learning and learning, and many experiences through blood, sweat, and tears that have brought us to this place right now where we believe, and I certainly believe, and many of the One Small Town members and management teams around the world, we now believe that we've reached a stage that it's virtually impossible for One Small Town to fail. I think we've reached a stage where we're going to succeed. It's going to take a mammoth infiltration to make this initiative fail. So it really is up to each and every one of us and everyone in this meeting and all your contacts and everyone that wants to make One Small Town a success to become actively involved and get as involved as you possibly can and help and support and spread the message and do the PR as much as you can on a daily basis. We have to become the seeds of consciousness. We have to become the spreaders and the messengers of the good news. So Once again, thanks to everybody that participated and contributed in so many different ways. It's impossible for me to quantify that because there's just been too many people. So I'd like to just very briefly, before we get to the questions and going through those, I'd like to very briefly just go through a little bit of history. For those that are new to the One Small Town Initiative, just to understand the really incredible path that brought us here. As I said, from 2005, when a simple question like, what would happen if we removed money from the system? That led to the contemplation of how we would do things without money. And that led to the idea and the philosophy of contributionism, where we as people would have to contribute to the well-being of our community. If there's no money, we would have to do the work, and we wouldn't have to wait for someone to give us a job or start a business or try and find money to pay for things. Because if there's no money, then we just have to do it. We don't wait for the money to get the money and then do it. We just do it, right? If you need to build a bridge, I've often think about the pioneers when they were traveling, no matter where, whether it's in the Americas and Africa and Australia, when they got to a river and they had to cross the river. Well, did they say, okay, well, now we're in trouble, we can't cross the river, let's find a bank to loan us some money? No, they didn't do that. They got together, they got the smartest people together, those that knew how to build a bridge, and they'd build a bloody bridge. So that's what this is all about. People know how to solve problems. People know how to build bridges. People know how to heal. People know how to educate. People know how to do everything. Unfortunately, the money system has gotten in the way and became the hurdle to progress to all of humanity everywhere. And it's out of this thought that the Ubuntu movement grew, and then eventually in 2016, 2014 became the One Small Town philosophy. So for those that are new to One Small Town and those early days, it really started to grow into a number of lectures that I was doing around the world and talking about what would happen if we removed money from the system, the whole idea of contributionism, how we would have to work together and contribute to the well-being of our community and the well-being of each and every one of us individually, and use our skills and talents. That's when you start to really identify the people's individual skills and talents and abilities and honor and thank them for what they are good at, not marginalize them because somebody that can build a bridge is not good at baking a cake, right? So you got to make sure that people that are good at what they do what they're good at, and don't force them to do something that they're not naturally good at. Unfortunately, society has now driven us to this moment of insanity where we're born into this insane world, and we end up spending most of our lives doing something we don't like, we're not good at, but we're forced to do it. So out of this kind of thinking, all of this has evolved. That brings us to this moment in time where we believe we have the foundation to change the world and make it a beautiful place, the kind of place that all of us believe the world should be. And I believe we're a few months away from really seeing those fruits of our labor of 20 years coming to fruition. So then just a little bit more about the Ubuntu movement. The Ubuntu movement was really launched in 2009 and then became a political party in South Africa in 2010. In those days, I believe that we should enter politics, that we should plant a seed of consciousness into the political beast. And that was a very important period in the evolution and the growth of the One Small Town Initiative, because that taught us exactly what not to do. And it taught us that politics is not a good choice. Politics is not the route to take to solve the world's problems, but we had to do it. So what I'm sharing with you here right now is really a journey of discovery and a journey of learning through our experiences, through the hard knocks and lessons and the blood, sweat, and tears, learning what not to do. Because in that process of learning what not to do, you start to realize what you should be doing. And that's exactly where we got to today. We know so much more today than we did even 2 years ago or 3 years ago. We know a universe more than we knew 10 years ago. So this is a very exciting moment for us to be in. Just to quickly give you some of the political trials and tribulations, if you're not aware of it. In 2010, the political party was registered in South Africa, the Ubuntu Party. And from there, we ran in 3 elections, 2012, 2014, and 2016. At the same time, we registered a political party in the UK. We registered one in Canada, and we also had a representative in Australia and New South Wales. So in 2012, we ran locally in South Africa as a local in our municipality. 2014, I ran for president because then the party ran on a national level. And if we had won, I would have become president. That's how it works in this country. So if the Ubuntu Party had won, this guy here would have been the president of South Africa. That would have been a very interesting situation. Because if you go back and look at some of our posters and banners and ideologies from 2014, it was quite radical. It was very radical, like shut down the Reserve Bank and replace it with a People's Bank, and free electricity for all the people and things like that. So, but we realized in 2014 that the outcome of the elections was completely rigged. And I'm not going to go into the details, but it was very obvious that the election results were rigged, and that no matter what you do as a small party, you're never ever going to win enough seats in parliament to make any kind of impact. So that's what then in 2016 made us go and only run in 13 municipalities under the One Small Town banner. So by then we'd already realized we don't want to be in politics. Politics is not the route to take, but I also felt that if we ran only in 13 municipalities and won one of those municipalities, and Ubuntu Party became the ruling party in that municipality, we could then appoint our mayors, and the mayors would implement the One Small Town philosophy. So that's why we ran in politics. So I need to make it very clear that there was a very clear strategy behind why we still ran in 2016. It wasn't just, oh, we're going to run because we want to get into politics. There was a very clear plan of action behind it. Unfortunately, we did not win any of those 13 municipalities. All that we found is that some of our members and some of our candidates who stood for the Ubuntu Party then became victimized and remained victimized for quite a while. And they lost their jobs and their families went into real, hard times. And I had to start looking after a lot of people that fell on hard times because they represented the Ubuntu Party. So I took that really personally. It was a huge, a terrible moment for me when I realized that all these people that put their lives really on the line and now suffered because they represented the Ubuntu Party. And even today, there are still some of those people from 2016 that I have to support because they still haven't been able to get back on their feet. So I just want to show you the knock-on effect and the repercussions that the politics has on ordinary people who want to create a better world and a better life for themselves and their families. It is despicable. It is unimaginable. And that's what politics does. But that's exactly what we're going to eradicate with the One Small Town initiative. So then after 2016, it became all, full steam ahead with One Small Town. And then we went through a whole learning process of thinking that we should work with the mayors and try and get the mayors on our side, and the mayors would do this and that. But several countries like South Africa, for example, the mayors are not elected by the people. The mayors are elected by the political party that wins in that town. So the mayor can often come from somewhere completely different and be appointed by the ruling party. So it's not like the USA or Brazil or various other countries where the mayors are elected by the people in the community. That is a very exciting prospect for One Small Town. So by the time we really get to explode in the USA, I think it's going to explode and grow very, very quickly because the USA has fortunately got the mayors that are elected by the people. And I believe Canada is the same thing, and many other countries. So we learned the hard way that in many countries, working with the mayors is not a solution. And by 2020, when COVID hit, the whole thing nearly shut down because I was affected by it. My business was affected by it. I nearly lost everything. I nearly lost my lodge, the museum, tourism crashed, everything got destroyed. And I was spending all my life savings on making this work. And then I did one thing. I did an interview with Charlie Ward. And I know that there are many people that have their own opinions about Charlie, but it was Charlie Ward in the Charlie Ward interview that I did that rescued the One Small Town initiative. So I've got to say thanks to Charlie for interviewing me at that stage and actually putting the word out to say, hey, I love what Michael is doing. I love what the One Small Town Initiative is standing for. Go out there and sign up and support him. If you want a better world, go out there and become a patron. And that overnight literally got us, about more than 500 patrons making contributions. And that rescued the One Small Town Initiative in 2020. And since then, it's just grown, and we're able to appoint various ambassadors around the world, not knowing what they're going to do, just somebody representing the idea and the ideology and the philosophy. And at one stage, we had I think 60 ambassadors, or we were in more than 68 countries at one stage, represented by many people. And we didn't quite know what to do and how to do it. But then by 2021, we started to get some really good quality people on board, like Julia Battery and many other people, and Fayez Mukarim, our beautiful ambassador in Lebanon, and just more and more quality people started to come on board. And we started to implement the One Small Town Initiative in a number of towns, not really knowing what we're doing, because in its philosophy, in its idea, it's a very simple and a beautiful and a noble idea, right? So we want to work together, we want to grow together, and we want to make our lives better. So let's start getting together, working together, cooperating, collaborating. So in its philosophy, it's a very simple idea. But when you get to implementing it, everything changes. So I just realized I forgot something.
Recording in progress. Michael, it's recording on YouTube.
Oh, is it? Okay, good. So it's recording now on my laptop and on YouTube. I forgot to press record. I got too excited seeing so many faces. So
I double check.
All right, great. So when we started to implement it, we suddenly realized, hold on, the idea is great. We've got a plan, but we don't really know what the people should do. Well, we had ideas and suggestions and philosophies, but then we learned very quickly that the people who put up their hand to say, hey, I want to be an ambassador for One Small Town, didn't necessarily have what it takes to start and run it and manage it. Because we realized that One Small Town is not just a bunch of hippies getting together and growing some food on a piece of land and growing it, living in teepees and tents. That's not what we're doing. Okay, I hope that's very clear for everybody. I love hippies. Many of my friends are hippies, but they're not the kind of people that are going to make this a success. So we had to learn very, very quickly how to allocate responsibilities to different people and what their role should be. And especially over the last 2 years and 2.5 years, this is where we really learned so much. Even in the last 6 months, we've learned the last, I believe, what will be the major big lesson for us to teach us about the implementation and how to implement One Small Town successfully. With what kind of people? What are they supposed to do? What is the first thing you do as an ambassador? How do we choose an ambassador? What does that ambassador do? What are the steps? What is the 12-month plan? What's the 24-month plan? And so forth. So it has been an incredible journey of discovery. The last 6 months has been the absolute, it's like it's speeded up to a nauseating Formula One speed of learning and absorbing and then implementing the things that we learn. And that's what makes me so excited, because I now believe, as do all our management team around the world, that we now have what it seems like the perfect formula, or not the perfect formula yet, the formula that will successfully launch One Small Town into a number of towns around the world. But to achieve that, we needed some sort of a IT blockchain platform. And that's exactly what we started to build 1.5 years ago. And that's what we've done with the guys that approached us out of the blue here in South Africa, world-class coders and programmers that work on a small number of elite, major, big clients around the world doing, blockchain and IT platform, private platforms, and memberships and things like that. They basically approached us and said, hey, we love what you're doing. we'll help you with this, and we'll do it for you at a fraction of the cost that we're doing for anybody else, because we love what you're doing and we want this to succeed. So what the benefit of One Small Town has been over many, many years is that it's attracted the right kind of people, whether it's the hippies that love the idea, the bunny huggers, the tree huggers, the scientists, the explorers, doesn't matter. It's attracted a wide range of people from across the world, from all kinds of life, from all countries you can imagine. I mean, we even have members in China, people in China that are interested in launching One Small Town. It's insane. So we're now in a position where the platform puts us in a very, very powerful position. And keep in mind that the One Small Town initiative is a private membership, and you have to join as a member. And that's really what protects us. Keep in mind that all the so-called secret societies of the world, the occult societies and secret societies, they've all managed to get away with all the stuff that they managed to get away with because they were private memberships. You had to be inducted and brought in as a member. So we're learning from those people. We're learning from them, but implementing it in a way that will benefit the people and benefit the communities, not to benefit the few that run the show. So it's really important for us to understand the critical role that the platform plays in everything that we do, from signing up as a member to issuing of the Infinity tokens, to allocating the time that you go and contribute your 3 hours into the businesses or the community upliftment projects and so forth. So and then distributing the monthly benefits, to managing the One Small Town store, allowing the people to go to the store with their tokens and get stuff from the store. Everything you can imagine is managed by the One Small Town platform. And that's what gives us our strength, our power, our unity, and the capacity to communicate, to share, to exchange. It allows One Small Town Lebanon to be able to export to One Small Town UK. The One Small Town UK becomes the importer of the products that come from one country, and vice versa. So every One Small Town, in essence, becomes an agent for all the other, first of all, for all their products that they are manufacturing and producing and growing and packaging and selling locally and benefiting and sharing locally. But it's also, each One Small Town becomes an agent for all the products that they're exporting, and becomes an agent locally in their town or neighborhood or country for all the other One Small Town products around the world. So we've created an incredibly powerful network of people and towns and inventors and farmers and producers and manufacturers and products that now, through the One Small Town initiative, creates an incredibly powerful, and it's going to create an incredibly powerful network around the world, all managed by the platform and the blockchain that runs behind it. So, and it's on this platform and the blockchain that the Infinity token was launched. And the Infinity token, hopefully by now you all understand what that is. Infinity token is what Bitcoin should have been, and unfortunately let everybody down. As far as we're concerned, and certainly as far as I'm concerned, the Infinity token at the moment is by far the most powerful asset-backed community token available anywhere in the world. And it might take a little while still for people to realize how powerful it is and what it's doing and what it's going to do in the future, because Infinity token cannot exist unless somebody somewhere worked for 3 hours, unless somebody somewhere contributed 3 hours of their time towards their community or towards their community business, not towards some random crap somewhere else. No, it's got to be a community upliftment initiative that you do. You've got to contribute your 3 hours towards your community. It's all logged on the system. No one can cheat it. No one can, try and scam the system. It's not possible. That's how it was set up. So the Infinity token is an asset-backed community token that will never, ever run out. We can't run out of it, or it can't become scarce like Bitcoin and then go crazy and no one can get it. So it's very important to understand the difference between normal cryptocurrencies or other NFTs and the One Small Town Infinity token. It is the token of the people, and we create it with our 3-hour contributions. So the more members there are in the world, the more they work, the more they contribute towards their communities and their businesses, the more Infinity tokens are created and can be shared among people and can be used to help benefit each community. And that brings us now to the very exciting time that we find ourselves in, and that is a whole new strategy of launching One Small Town, with the ambassador becoming literally the CEO of the idea in the town. And the ambassador, as a CEO, surrounds him or herself with highly capable people. And these people are generally, people that are experienced in running major companies or corporations, that have got that kind of mentality, know how to get things done, know how to find the right people to get things done, to surround themselves with the most able and talented and gifted people to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves with One Small Town. You're not going to do it with spiritual people that want to do your tarot readings. We're going to do tarot readings on the side, and we're going to all love that, and we're going to work with the hippies and sing Kumbaya. We're going to get together and make a bonfire at night. But the other time, we're going to get to work, and we're going to work with the guys that know how to start a business, know how to make a profit from a business, and know how to project manage that business, know how to do the accounting for the businesses, and know how to calculate the profits, and know how to distribute those profits to the members of their community. So these are the kind of people that literally launch One Small Town. But included in that team are farmers, are inventors, are teachers, are healers, all the people that we need in our community. But the guys that run it must be the hardcore business people that know how to start something and finish it and make it a success. Part of that process is also community upliftment programs and projects, whether it's cleaning the streets and fixing potholes, helping the orphanages or a community kitchen, or cleaning the parks, or building playgrounds, whatever it is, or sports fields, etc., etc. Arts and culture is obviously very, very important. So we're now at the stage where we're ready to do this. And part of the role of the One Small Town ambassador is to put together a 12-month plan with his or her support team, the implementation team. That 12-month plan must consist of at least 1 or 2 or 3 businesses or business plans, or what we've done in South Africa, for example, in Paris. That team came up with about 55 or 60 businesses that would be suitable for their town after several meetings of the implementation team. They came up with about 60 businesses, and from those they filtered it down to 3 or 5, I think it is. Well, actually, it's actually even more, because we've already started doing some of those businesses. It might be 10 businesses now that are the most feasible and the most quick turnaround businesses that will start generating a turnover and a profit from those businesses. So those business plans that get written by the business planners in that development team. And now, for example, we have a situation where when those businesses are ready, they've been looked at, they've been approved, they are really great businesses showing a good profit, because good businesses with good business plans attract good investors. And that's what we're going for here. We need to show investors that we're not just a bunch of hippies trying to sing Kumbaya. And I'm sorry if I'm harping on the hippie thing too much, so I'll stop. But we need to show the investors out there that we're very serious about what we're doing, because this is a very, very serious thing that we're doing. It's never been done before. And by the way, while I'm saying it's never been done before, keep in mind that we're doing all of this without a script, without a playbook, with no written directions or instructions. We're literally flying by the seat of our pants. And as somebody recently said to me, we're building the airplane while we're flying it. And I love that expression, so I'm going to stick with that one. And boy, this airplane has already taken flight, and it's flying really well. Now we're getting better at the steering. We're getting better at building the landing gears. Sooner or later, we want to land and disembark and have a break. So we're doing very, very well, but we've got to be very focused on what it is that we're doing. So once the business plans are ready and we're happy with them, that's when we move to the very next, very important phase, and that is to generate a token for that specific business, just like we've done with the Ras Al Mutton Health Center. And once again, I got to say thanks to Fayez Mukarim and the incredible One Small Town members in Ras Al Mutton, Lebanon, a beautiful town, ancient, historic town that's 30 minutes away from Baalbek, one of the most important ancient historic sites on earth. So the One Small Town Lebanon is by far leading the way very quickly, leading the way among all our small towns. Let me just quickly give you the success story there. So I think we've got about 1,000 members signed up in Ras Al Mutton out of a population of 8,000 people or so. The mayor is a member of One Small Town there. Many of the senior members are people in One Small Town, the educators, the healers, the teachers, many of the youth, all the young people are signed up. So One Small Town Lebanon is about to start releasing their first 3 products and exporting those products to the EU, to the Gulf, and to the UK. And those products are bottled water, pine nuts, because Ras Al Mutton is a huge pine nut area, and also honey. They've also been working on growing all kinds of other herbs and medicinal plants that grow well in that area. So that's going to create a huge additional revenue in the next 6 to 12 months from oregano that be turned into oregano oil and various other health products and so forth. But just between the water, the pine nuts, and the honey, Ras Al Mutton is poised to make about anything between $500,000 and $1 million per month exporting those 3 products. Now, just put that into context. That's $1 million per month profit for that little town. And that could go a lot higher once the water becomes in demand, because it's deep earth water, it's primary water, so it's highly structured and highly energetic water and healing water. So we believe that, like Fiji water, from tiny little Fiji, you can buy bloody anywhere around the world. I believe that our Ubuntu water, it's called Ubuntu water, primary drinking water. And we believe that the Ubuntu water will become a highly sought after water around the world, especially if our One Small Town members and supporters do what they're supposed to do, to promote the brands, promote the products, get behind it, and spread the message. It's up to us, right? It's really up to us to make this a success. So just those 3 products will make Ras Al Mutton a huge financial success from those 3 businesses. Now add 20 and 30 and 50 businesses to that, and you can see where this is going with the monthly profit for that little town and their 1,000 members. Remember, that profit gets distributed to those 1,000 members equally every month. So already 1,000 members will be receiving like $1,000 a month. If they're making $1 million profit, suddenly everyone is receiving $1,000 a month from those 3 businesses. Let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. So if you watch any of my videos before, I've been saying that any town of 10,000 people has the capacity of turning over, with their businesses that they start, turning over $1 billion or more per annum. If you're not turning over $1 billion, then you're doing something wrong. And it's another, we can discuss that later through the questions if you have those. So let's come back to Ras Al Mutton, and the final thing I'm going to say before we go to questions, because this is where we are right now. Over and above the 3 products that Fayez and the One Small Town Ras Al Mutton in Lebanon are about to start exporting, the big thing there is the health center. They've spent the last 12 months building and preparing this beautiful 6-story building into what is now turning out to be, it's going to be one of the most advanced health centers in the Middle East and in the Gulf area, with the most advanced technologies, state-of-the-art equipment, the latest frequency healing technologies, and so much more. Fayez has performed miracles there. They've already been training nurses that are highly experienced nurses. Now they're learning how to use all these other machines and these other technologies that they've never heard of before, but we know are leading edge, cutting edge, new age healing modalities. Even further beyond that, I believe there's somewhere between 30 and 40 doctors that have aligned themselves and going to be working in the medical center, in the health center, that are world experts in their diverse specialities. So we have a huge team of highly experienced specialists, doctors, medical staff, nurses, and the Once More Town members who are going to be there doing all the other work, the 3 hours a week, 3 hours a day, whether it's the cleaning, the security, the washing, the delivery, all the other stuff that gets done by the Once More Town members. That's part of their 3 hours a week contribution, so that they can get the benefits of the profits. Well, the business plan for that health center is so stunning. I can tell you that on paper, that business plan makes on average, conservatively, about $7 million a year profit, and probably more net profit. So this is a huge breakthrough for that little town. Already we have certain other Gulf state countries, or Gulf area countries, that have shown an interest in that model from seeing the health center brochure. They've contacted Fayez and they've already said, hey, we love what you're doing. Can you build one of those in our area? So that started to happen. But what we've now done is we've created the first example of how we as Once More Town members around the world help to fund and crowdfund our own businesses. And the health center is the first one. So by now, I trust you're aware that we've launched last week. We've launched the Once More Town Health Center token. We're raising $5 million. So we've issued 1 million tokens at $5 each. And we trust that each and every one here, whether they're watching on YouTube, whether they're in the Zoom call with me here, our role as members and supporters of Once More Town should be single-mindedly focused on making this a success. Because once we've made this first investor token, we call it an investor token, although it's not a direct shares. I'll go into the detail of that later. Let's not get stuck on that. The investor token that you can buy for $5, that is the prototype for every other business in every other Once More Town. We will be helping to raise funds for your business, whether it's a brewery or a hospital or a school or a clothing factory or a horse breeding stables. No matter what it is that you as a community come up with, that you write the business plan for. The business plan is sound and solid. It shows a good profit. Then we raise a token against that business and we release that token for crowdfunding from members and supporters and investors around the world. That's how we fund and crowdfund our businesses. This system does not exist anywhere else. This is a whole brand new way for Once More Town members around the world to be able to crowdfund and fund our own businesses. So my message to everyone here today and everyone that watches this video in the future is, this is probably the most important thing we need to do right now. If you want to make the world a better place, if you think Once More Town is a great idea and you'd like to be involved, you'd like to make it a success, do one thing. Go out and buy a few health center tokens, the Ras Al Matan health center tokens. So we can sell those 1 million tokens, we can finish that health center and move on to the next Once More Town business. That will ensure that the members of the community and those people that bought the tokens start getting their annual returns, their annual payouts. Because remember, when you buy the token, that's not a donation. It is an investment into that specific business. And 30% of that business is allocated towards distributing 30% profits of that business. Sorry, 30% of the net profits from that business is then allocated to be distributed to all the token holders that bought those tokens. So you can do the numbers. If we're doing $7.5–8 million a year profit, and 30% of that gets distributed to 1 million people, and you bought a few tokens, you can do the numbers. This in any investor's world is a very, very good investment. So hopefully this will set the tone for what we're doing with the businesses, the business plans, and the tokens that we use as a mechanism and a tool to fund and crowdfund our own businesses. And once we've succeeded in the first one, I believe this will create a domino effect and a completely new way for members and people in small towns to be able to really activate their communities, activate their towns, and stimulate the growth in their towns by doing these business plans and also raising the funds for those business plans. So I think I have covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover before I open the floor. So I think that's it.
Shall I interject here, Michael?
Yes, please do.
Firstly, there is I've been existing in 2 dimensions here, one on Zoom and one on YouTube. And I can see there's an amazing amount of people on YouTube from all different countries and lots of positive comments coming there. There's probably some questions we can pick out after this and notify people on YouTube. On Zoom, you just forgive me for a minute while I scroll up. I have answered a couple of questions on Zoom, just very briefly, directly to the people that have asked them, but let's cover them all, as we go through.
Okay, so Julie, will you read the questions? Because I'm too hyper right now. It's probably not a good time to read questions. I psych myself up going through.
And then we can deal with the answers. Okay, bear with me.
I see there's a question. Am I able to transfer money without a credit card? Let me answer that right up front. That's a question I can see. The answer is absolutely yes. Please go to our website. First of all, remember, you've got to be a member. You've got to first sign up as a member. So everything in One Small Town. So this is why it is becoming, and it will be, a very, very strong global movement. We're doing what the secret societies have been doing for years. We've created a private club. Everything you can benefit and do anything you want, but first become a member. Then everything is available to everyone. It's completely transparent. Everyone in every one small town, everyone can log into any of their businesses and see how well the business will be doing. That's part of what the platform does. So it is a completely and utterly transparent system. So no one can run away with the money. The reason we had to put the platform in place is so that when investors put their money in, they know that they're not putting into some schmuck or some shyster's private bank account. They're actually putting into a system where no one can run away with the money, and there's an accountability. The blockchain and the platform follows the money and the investor can see exactly that the money is being used where it's supposed to be used, in the business that they put the money into. That's why the tokens are such an important tool to be linked to the investments into the separate into the different businesses. So very soon, as the One Small Town memberships develop and the towns start to pop up all over the world, any member in any town will be able to log into any of their businesses and see how well that business is doing, see how much profit is going to generate this month, and then see how much total profit the system is going to distribute to all the members in that town. You're not going to be able to do that for the neighbor's town or for the town in Australia or in Canada, but you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to check out your own town. So it's transparent for the members in your town, not anyone around the world. So when I say it's completely transparent, it's for the members that work in their businesses, their communities, and so forth. Because there has to be some levels of protection as well, and ring fencing so that it doesn't get too wonky. So yes, if you first of all go online, sign up as a member. Sign up as a member of One Small Town. The moment you're a member, then log in with your membership email and your password. Log in and you'll see all the different things that you can do. Now you'll be in your membership account and you can see all the things, my profile, my wallet, etc., and then play around, learn what there is available. And then go to my wallet. So if you want to buy tokens, whether it's Infinity tokens or the Russell Mutton Health Center tokens, click on my wallet. You'll see your wallet pop up, and then click on buy Health Center tokens. So you can either click on buy Health Center tokens or buy Infinity tokens, and that's it. And then the moment you click on that, it'll give you an option to either use your credit card or to do a direct transfer into our One Small Town International bank account with Bank of America. So all the transactions are happening through the American bank account. We felt that was the safest at this stage. We've looked at all kinds of options, and we ended up with Bank of America. So, all the information is on the website. You can go and see that the One Small Town International Bank of America. It's a registered company with a registered account. It's a Florida registered company, and our partner Travis, who's been with us since 2016, has done tremendous things. Oh, by the way, Travis actually ran for the mayor of Austin, Texas, in, when was it, 2017 or 2018? I see Rita's face there, and Rita is laughing and nodding because she was all part of it at the time. And Travis ran as for mayor in Austin, Texas, and believe it or not, he got close to, I think, 8,000 votes. That's a lot of votes for an incumbent person that's a nobody. That's a lot of votes. And he ran purely on the One Small Town promise and the One Small Town ticket. So it shows you already in 2018, I think it was 2018, how much support that idea already had. So, right. So that was the answer that question.
So the first question comes from Daria in Glasgow, Scotland. How do we tackle age diversity in OST where there is an issue when there is an issue regarding this? For example, on the first UK call, the vast majority seem to be senior citizens. I have some ideas that I would like to research further. Speaking of the senior citizens area, I'll just give you a bit of a hint. So, as you know from that first British Isles call, we are building up awareness. And for example, yesterday I was down in a town called Forest Row, and it was for a different event, but kind of like-minded. And I just sat in a coffee shop there where there were all people of your kind of age group. And I started talking, and I got a huge amount of interest. And I ended up just speaking to this whole group of people that are interested and want me to go back in One Small Town. So it's about us creating that awareness. Having said that, at the event, there were people of my age and upwards. And it's because I think the reason that we're attracted to these different kinds of ways of living is because our age group has all been kicked in the teeth more. I've spent longer being kicked in the teeth. So it's about building up awareness. And I know that you put your hand up to contribute some time. So it'd be really great to join up with you and see where we can certainly push some awareness in Scotland, because we've got quite a few people now putting their hands up saying, hey, what about Scotland? So thanks for putting your hand up and joining in. I hope that covers the question for everyone outside of the British Isles too.
I need to just add to that. First of all, thank you, Julia. Thanks for that. I'm so excited to hear that you got such a wonderful crowd gathering. Boy, you just reminded me. Of all the tours that I've done around the world, and all the impromptu places that I was just shoved onto stage and said, "Hey, like at fairs and Oktoberfests in Austria and Germany and weirdest places you can imagine, just shoved onto a stage and just tell the people about One Small Town quickly, just like out of the blue, and then suddenly, before you know, the crowd gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they send a basket around for donations, and it comes back with really generous donations that covers my travel costs. So it just brings back so many incredible memories. And guess what? Each and every one of those was just another tiny building block into what we are celebrating today. If it wasn't for that effort, if it wasn't for traveling and doing it relentlessly and never ever giving up, we would not be here today. That's it. And for Charlie Ward interviewing me. So I just want to add the question of seniors and what seniors can contribute. First of all, as far as the management team of One Small Town, the ambassador and the implementation team, or the support team as we call it, that requires serious experience, serious knowledge. So I assume that that's either going to be a young go-getter, somebody who's like one of those young people that really gets it,